Hello, everybody, and welcome in to a special edition of Texas Longhorns here. I am your host, Matthew Miller. You can find me right there on X, host at Texas at the Voice of College Football on the Voice of College Football Network. Again, go over, subscribe here, like the content as well. We are here every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, talking Texas Longhorns here live, previewing that week's game. That game day, we're here right after the game, breaking right after. Sometimes we'll cut in live. We might have a watch along. And for you to be able to find us, you have to like and subscribe. So please be here for that. Also, next week, we will be doing Tuesday and Thursday with the Michigan guys over there, TJ and John. They do a fantastic job. We're going to be doing a big collaboration because of the Texas-Michigan game. But this is a big morning. Friday morning, five-star wide receiver Jamie Ffrench chooses the Texas Longhorns. 6'1", 185 pounds out of Mandarin, Florida. He's the number 25 player in the country, number 4 wide receiver, according to 247. If you want to go based off composite score, the average of all the recruiting sites, 19th player nationally, and the 4th wide receiver. So basically, he's the 4th wide receiver wherever you look, guys. This guy is a stud. And guess what, guys? It makes Texas the only class in the whole country with 2 5-star wide receivers with Khalil Locke and Jamie Ffrench. And guess what, guys? We might not be done. Let's stay on Jamie Ffrench. Overall, just a really good wide receiver. There's very little flaws in the game. He's good in the air, contested catch wise. He's good with route running. What I notice really well on film, what he does is acceleration and deceleration. What I mean by that is if you watch Luka Doncic in the NBA, you're fooled because you think, oh, he's not that fast. But what he's really good at is breaking. Going as fast as you possibly can and then stopping on a dime. Jamie Ffrench does the same thing on the football field. Fantastic route runner with the acceleration and the deceleration. Again, like Khalil Lockett, he has gigantic hands no matter who you talk to. They're like oven mitts, catcher's mitts, whatever you want to call them. He has them, and that's a very important thing to have at wide receiver. When we talk about quarterback, I think it's slightly overrated how the NFL looks at it. But when you're talking about a guy that has to catch the ball for a living, which is the definition of a wide receiver, you definitely want big hands, and he's got big and sure hands. He does not drop balls. Most of the balls he does drop are concentration drops. It's when he does have someone beat and he just lacks concentration because he's already celebrating. I think that he'll move away from that when his youth starts to fade away, hopefully. And, Sark, won't tolerate that. If he does that at Texas, Sark will kick him in the butt. So I think overall he will get better at that. He is not a burner, guys, but again, he has plenty of speed. When we talk about a burner, if you go and watch Decorian Moore, that is a burner. I believe Decorian Moore runs like a 10.4, 10.500 meters, which means if he trained at it, worked at it full time, he's probably like a 10.2 guy, maybe 10.3. That is not Jamie Ffrench. He's like a 10.7 guy. Now, he is faster than Khalil Lockett, where Khalil Lockett's more of an in-the-air guy. But definitely enough speed to make you pay after the catch if you do miss a tackle. Another thing about him, he's very versatile. He's someone to me, when he comes to Texas, he can play on the outside or the inside, whereas Khalil Lockett's an outside threat for me only. Maybe he surprises me and plays inside. Maybe he does, which would be awesome. And we've seen that at Texas. Right now, we have 5 out of the 6 wide receivers that are expected to play the majority of the snaps this season are getting reps at the outside and the inside wide receiver. So Jamie Ffrench will fit right into that mold. I expect him to get pretty significant playing time right away at Texas. Honestly, unless Isaiah Bond or someone else has like a down season and has to come back, I think he's going to have a pretty good freshman season for the University of Texas. And overall, this is a really exciting time for Texas. Like I said, it is the only class in the country now with 2 5-star wide receivers with Khalil Locke and Jamie Ffrench. There is a chance to add a 3rd in Michael Terry sometime in September. That would be a big get for Texas. I still think they would like to add a true speed guy at the wide receiver position. If you get Michael Terry is not a speed guy. He's actually more of a tight end, but I think they'll give him a chance to play wide receiver. I think overall they're pitching him as just an offensive weapon. Play a little bit of H-back, play a little bit of tight end, play a little bit of wide receiver, play a little bit of everything, honestly. So overall, I think they're still going to look for that little burner. You're going to try to flip Decorian Moore. I do not think that is going to happen. But overall, this is a fantastic Friday, a fantastic way to kick off your weekend if you're a Longhorn fan. And right now, we're going to stop sharing this screen and we're going to talk about recruiting update overall. So like I said, a couple names to keep an eye out on the trail for are Matt Framer and Michael Terry. We've talked about them on this channel so far. Matt Framo, really no discussion on when he could commit. It's up in the air. I think Michael Terry will commit sometime in late September, and I think he does end up picking Texas, which again, 3 5-star wide receivers for Texas. It's not the 3 5-stars every fan would have wanted, but it's a hell of a class either way. It's a lot of offensive weapon and firepower for Steve Sarkisian to use. And then there's also a bunch of defensive line guys that we need to talk about. A couple guys that they've offered recently at other programs. A couple guys out of the Peach State in Georgia, and I think that's always a good thing. And people got to remember, there's 105 available scholarships now. The NCAA got rid of the rule. It's 105. Instead of 105 players on the roster, you can have 105 scholarships. So that ups your scholarships from 85 to 105 if you choose to use them. You're not forced to use them. You do not have to use them. I personally think if Texas is going to use them on offensive line and defensive line. That's where you need to stash. That's where you need to develop. And that's where you need to retain these players. And this will be a smart way to do it, in my opinion. Myron Charles, we talked about him on the live stream, 6'4", 295 pounds from Florida. He is at Florida State. I think he is the most likely to flip to Texas out of the group I'm going to name. Kevin Wynn from Georgia took a visit to Texas. He's with Florida State. I think he ends up staying at Florida State. If he doesn't stay at Florida State, I think he ends up staying at home in Georgia. Chase Sims from Texas. He is currently committed to Texas A&M, and Texas honestly didn't give him the love he deserved early on. And I'm wondering if he feels scorned by that and he doesn't end up at Texas because of it. I think he liked Texas, and it's sad he liked Texas more than Texas A&M at the beginning of this. But when you're not recruited and you're not feeling the love from a program, I understand if that bothers you and you end up not wanting to go there. So I don't know if we stand a chance with him, but he is committed at A&M, and we are in pursuit. Another name, Malcolm Simpson, new onto the scene, but he's a 4-star player from Nebraska. Going to be hard to pull him away from there. They have money. They need the talent there at the defensive line, but we're going to try. Again, Sark recruits through the whistle. Zion Williams. This is a guy I do expect to visit Texas. Texas is basically begging him to take a visit, and I think there's a really good chance if they get him to take a visit, I think there's a really good chance he flips. It's going to be hard to get him to take a visit, though. They're going to try. They're going to try. They're going to try. We will see if it happens. That is another name to keep an eye on. A familiar name, DJ Sanders from A&M. That's someone we will also try to commit from Belleville. Honestly, I think he's pretty committed A&M. I think unless A&M just absolutely falls apart, like 7-5, 6-6, I think he stays. I think 8-4 is good enough to keep him there. And then here's a couple guys out of Georgia, Braxton Kyle and Caleb Bell, both from Georgia. One, Braxton Kyle committed to Rutgers from Georgia. He's going all the way up to New Jersey, but he's starting to get more offers now, and it would not surprise me if he becomes a 4-star, if he has a really good senior season, and he moves on from Rutgers. No offense to Rutgers, they're not really a big player in college football like that, so it would surprise me if he ends up there. I mean, Georgia to New Jersey, and you're probably going to be a 4-star recruit by the end of the cycle. I just don't see it happening. I think Texas probably will be in play, but again, it's hard to pull these guys out of the Peach State. And again, Georgia is offering more guys because they're saying the same thing I am. Hey, we have 20 more scholarships to play with. Let's use them on the offensive and defensive line. And then Caleb Bell, the 3-star, is committed to Arkansas, and we'll see what happens with him. And then a guy that's going to be visiting Texas for the UTSA game. He's actually visiting Florida this weekend for the Miami game. He is committed to Florida. Joseph Mbachu. This guy is huge. 6'4.5", 270+ pounds. In my opinion, out of the guys I listed, I think he's probably the third most talented. I would go Myron Charles, Zion Williams, Joseph Mbachu. Personally, I still have to watch a little bit more film on these guys, but those are kind of like the new flavors, the guys that we know about that are committed somewhere else, and then the guys that kind of spurned us, but we're still on the trail for, and then also Matt Framo and Michael Terry still to make their decision. Texas climbs to number 6 in the country with the Jamie Ffrench commitment. Think about that, guys. We were worried a month and a half ago. We were ranked like 17. We were all the way up to 6th in the country with the Jamie Ffrench commitment. I think we'll end up getting Michael Terry. I think Matt and Framo's 50-50 with Michael Terry. Will climb in the top 5. And I think we'll have the best offensive weapons out of anyone in high school recruiting this year with Michael Terry, Jamie Ffrench, Khalil Lockett, Nick Townsend, Emery Winston. That's a very, very, very good skill position class. I didn't even mention the running backs and James Simon and Ricky Stewart. But overall, this is a hell of a recruiting class so far by Steve Sarkisian. He's bounced back well. And there's a chance, guys. I thought number 3 in the country wasn't possible. With some of those guys in the name, if we can clip 2 or 3 of them, there's a real chance this is a top 3 class come signing day. Again, I am Matthew Miller, your host. You can find me right there on X or Twitter. We are here every Monday, but next week it will be Tuesday and Thursday with the Michigan guys breaking it down. We're going to be having a call-in show Thursday, guys, so stay tuned for that next Thursday. I will be here after the Colorado State game, so I really appreciate you guys sticking with me here. Again, like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, guys. Thank you. Hook 'em.